Can't say I'm too disappointed.
Hi, I'm Trevor. This is my channel, The Musette. In the past week I've completed Zwift's 2 hardest routes. The UBER Pretzel in Watopia I did last week, and this morning I completed Pretzel Full in the London World on Zwift. 173 kilometers. I certainly didn't set out to do the fastest time, I just set out to cover a steady pace. So here are 10 tips that should help you get through those 2 hard routes. Firstly, it's not a race. Try and ride at around 60% of your FTP. Secondly, use something like Zwift Insider to check out the routes. The UBER Pretzel is in a Watopia world, so it's available all the time, but you should take into account the major challenges and features of that route. The epic con, the volcano climb, and last of all, Alpe de Zwift. But don't forget that somewhere in the early stages of the ride, you've got the jungle loop, and there you'll need a gravel bike to take on that challenge. The Pretzel Full is something totally different. It's in a guest world, so you'll need to check the calendar on something like Zwift Insider. Check the dates that the London World are going to be available. I'd recommend that you ride 2 laps of the loop at about 60% of your FTP. This will allow you to create a hollow replay pacer that you'll be able to follow as you ride around the circuit. Choose your bikes carefully. On the UBER Pretzel, I'd recommend the use of 3 bikes. I used a climbing bike straight from the start, all the way up to the top of the Epic Com and the radio tower, and then I switched to an aero road bike with a disc wheel for the descent and all the flat parts. But for the jungle loop, I switched to a gravel bike. You'll really need to do that because it will sap your energy, it will sap your strength. Most of the rest of the time, use an aero bike with a disc wheel if you can. Don't use the time trial bike on this circuit because there will be opportunities in the Watopia world to tag onto groups, and you can even tag onto a robo pacer group and sit in there and have 10-15 minutes of easier riding at a faster pace. Food and drink. These are long events. You'll need to hydrate, you'll need to fuel your ride. So a couple of weeks before you actually start your event, check out your stock and order or purchase replacement gels or cereal bars or whatever you use to fuel your rides. Clothing. Now this is dependent on the time of day that you start your ride, the time of day that you finish your ride, and obviously the season that you are in locally, but you need to dress for the temperatures. This might mean wearing a long sleeve jersey in the morning and then changing halfway through and wearing a short sleeve jersey. But for both events, plan to change your clothing about midway through the ride. And this isn't just a jersey, it is above all the shorts and the socks, and I can tell you that it feels really good once you start off with fresh kit. Towels. It'll be handy to have 1 or 2 small towels. There'll come a point in the ride that you'll need to wipe yourself down, or your arms or your face. In ride, fueling and hydration. Drink often and drink a lot. It's not like when you're riding outdoors, when you develop the habit of sipping regularly. When you use the same frequency of drinking, as to say sipping just as regularly, it's not going to work. You're going to have to chug down a mouthful or 2 every time you would normally sip. I use 5 bottles, electrolyte, water and energy drink. I also drank coffee. This is just to give me a bit of a change and a break. Eat as often as you feel, but don't neglect eating. Gels, bars, even special treats. You can give yourself a special treat at halfway through or a specific distance such as 100 kilometers, but just break the ride up. Changing clothes at half distance is one thing, adding a bit of pleasure food is another thing, and drinking regularly and changing drinks, varying your drinks, will help you get through that ride. It is quite a tough challenge. If you can, celebrate something during the ride. Get to 100 kilometers,
100 kilometers.
have a chocolate or something different. This is what I did.
100 kilometers. One Kinder, the bonus. I haven't looked at Kinder.
Expect the unexpected. Things happen, weird things happen. You might well become tired and confused towards the end of this ride. It happens, it can happen. Take a drink, have a gel or something, just re-energize your body and your brain. You might not have this kind of distraction, but I had a cat who came in. It doesn't matter, get off the bike, let the cat in. It's not a race.
Ready, cat?
The route. The pretzel foe throws you two curveballs. The first one is that if you haven't studied the route carefully, the last lap heads out of London towards Box Hill, and you think that all of a sudden there's another climb. There's 4 kilometers left, we come into the Surrey roundabout. Well, I hadn't expected it to finish at the top of there.
Steady down. 1.5 kilometers to the hill. What? What was that about?
But in fact what happens is you go round the Surrey roundabout and back into London. And that left me a little bit confused and worried about maybe there was a problem with the circuit and that I wasn't going to get the badge after 170 kilometers. Right towards the end, I don't know if they've done this purposely just to brighten up your last few hundred meters, but just watch out. The rider goes in between two lampposts. It's quite a fun thing. Post-ride. Hydrate immediately. Drink, sip, chug on anything you want, go take a shower. Don't hang around in those clothes. Once you're finished with your shower, what I did, I massaged my legs for 5 minutes straight after the shower. I also massaged my legs for 5 minutes just before going to bed. 5 minutes is enough to avoid cramps during the night. I also wore compression pants. So I massaged my legs, put on compression pants and got dressed. When you're rehydrating, it'll probably be helpful to eat a pack of salted peanuts or salted crisps during the morning or the hours after your ride. Don't eat lots and lots, but just a small handful every 15-20 minutes. This will help you rehydrate and add some salt. And lastly, rest. The full pretzel route is tough, it's hard. It may take you 3 days or more to recover, so I'd say have a 3-day rest, let your body adapt to the effort that you've produced, and then you can carry on with light work after and build up back into your usual routine. That's how I did it, and that's how I feel it worked for me. So if you're planning to do either of these rides in the near future, good luck. You know you can do it. You know you can get those badges. Ride on.